The last and final test is to check for water inside the gas tank. And that's what this device is for. And what this is kind of like it looks almost like a speedometer cable that's inside of a plastic housing. And when you completely unravel it, or unwrap it, you've got a handle on this end that you can actually move this thing in and out of the plastic. And so what the idea is you get it all the way down like this. So I push the one end in and I can pull the other end out and expose part of the cable behind here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this paste on here. And this is water detection paste. So I'll show you what it looks like. It's this stuff here, and it turns a bright color red when it's exposed to water. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of this stuff, and it doesn't take very much. I'm going to put a little bit on the end of my screwdriver here. Put the cap back on. And what I would do is I would take the end of the cable here and I would smear this paste on the end of the cable, and then I would take the cable and put it back inside the plastic sleeve and then drop or fish this whole cable right down inside the gas tank, and then poke the cable back out again to expose the paste, which is this stuff here, to water. And what will happen is if there's any water in the gas tank at all, the paste will turn that color right there. So I just dipped it in some water and you can see how it turned a bright red color instead of that yellow paste color that it was. And so that'll tell you whether or not there's any water in the tank. So it's a really simple test. I'm not going to drop this into a tank at all, but that's how you would do the test. Usually you can, the idea is to get this thing on the bottom of the tank. The downside to this is a lot of modern gas tanks have restrictors in the fill neck and stuff, so you can't get this down inside the tank. So I'm going to take my gas sample. I've put some more paste on my screwdriver, and then I'm just going to squish this around down inside the gas sample just like you would do inside of a tank. And then I'll pull it out, and it'll tell me whether or not I've got any water or moisture in the gas tank. And if you notice, it's still that same mustard yellow kind of color. So there's no moisture inside my gas sample here. If there was moisture in my gas sample, it would be, I've got some water inside this cup here. So if I just dip this in the water, see how it turned red? That's what it would look like. Okay, the last thing I did is I took all of these components, the beaker, the eyedropper, my thermometer, my cup, my pressure gauge, my glass cup, and my sample jar. I took them over to the sink and washed everything up. When you're washing the gauge, be sure that you do not get water up inside the gauge up here, so put the cap on before you wash it. So you don't get water up inside the gauge, because you can actually damage the gauge if you do that. Everything's back together, it's all nice and clean, and now I can turn it back into the tool room. So hopefully this gives you an idea of how to check for reed vapor pressure, also check for water in the gas tank, and also check for alcohol content in the gasoline. So we'll see you in the next video.